published 7:49 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 8th of May 2018, updated 9:09 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 8th of May 2018. With the Premier League status on the line, Swansea urgently need the brotherly connection between Jordan and Andre Ayew to start translating into wins on the pitch. The Welsh side, 18th in the Premier League, hosts 17th place Southampton on Tuesday, knowing 3 points would not only lift them out the bottom three but also deal a major blow to a rival battling to retain Premier League status at Swansea's expense. For the Ayews, who led Swansea's attack in the 1-0 defeat by Bournemouth on Saturday, there is something extra at stake. They could become only the second pair of brothers in Premier League history to be relegated playing for the same team. Andre Ayew, left, and brother Jordan are trying to avoid being relegated together at Swansea. Swansea are 18th in the Premier League and have a must-win game v Southampton on Tuesday. The first were Martin and Marcus Olsen at Blackburn Rovers in 2012. Under the guidance of Steve Keane, the Ayew brothers have become somewhat synonymous with the wrong half of the table since they moved to England in the summer of 2015, when Andre first joined Swansea and Jordan arrived at Aston Villa. Villa went down that season, finishing last with only 17 points, and while Ayew was the leading scorer that campaign, he topped the scoring charts with only 7 goals. He stayed until January 2017, when Swansea moved to bring him to Wales in a £5 million deal. Andre, 28, 2 years older than Jordan, was at West Ham then. His first Swansea spell ran for the 2015-16 season before the Hammers signed him for £20 million, and he returned to Wales in January in an £18 million move. He has yet to score since during his second run at the club. Andre started the season at West Ham while Jordan has been relegated before at Aston Villa. The first brothers to be relegated in the Premier League were Martin, left, and Marcus Olsen. The Olsen brothers both featured prominently during Blackburn's 2011-12 campaign. The Olsen brothers joined up at Blackburn midway through the 2011-12 season. Martin Olsen had been a part of the academy at Ewood Park since January 2006, and brother Marky was signed from Harmstadt in January 2012 as Rovers battled to avoid the drop. He played 12 times in the remainder of that campaign, with Marcus making 32 appearances over the course of the season. There have been a number of near misses along the way, with brothers battling against relegation. Long before Kolo and Yaya Toure were leading Manchester City to Premier League glory, David and Ian Brightwell started City's ignominious 1995-96 season together at Main Road. David Brightwell, right, left Manchester City before they went down with his brother Ian. The era of the Brightwells is a far cry from the trophy-laden days with Yaya and Kolo Toure. Stephen and Noel Hunt were both at Reading, but only Noel was there for relegation. City finished 18th and dropped into Division 1, but David was sold to Second Division Bradford in December 1995. He ended up helping them win promotion via the playoffs, and the Brightwell brothers were back in the same league the following campaign. Jim and Jeff Whitley are two other brothers to have come through the ranks at City, but during the 1996 relegation were only in the youth squad. Jeff was irregular in 2001 when City were relegated from the Premier League, but Jeff was on loan at Norwich and Northampton and did not feature alongside his brother. Stephen and Noel Hunt played together at Reading from 2008, with Noel joining the Royals as part of their overhaul following Premier League relegation. Stephen left in 2009 to play in the top flight with Wolves. When Reading eventually returned in 2012-13, Stephen had dropped down a division and was at Ipswich after a string of knee injuries. Reading only managed one season back in the Premier League, and Noel could only muster 2 goals. Anton and Rio Ferdinand both tasted Premier League relegation with Queen's Park Rangers. Rio won the league when QPR were relegated in 2013. 2 years later he went down with them. Shola and Sammy Amiobi played together at Newcastle, but not when they were relegated. Shola Amiobi has played at Newcastle alongside his younger brother Sammy Amiobi, but their appearances never directly coincided with Newcastle's Premier League relegation in 2008-09 and 2016-17. The same applies to Rio and Anton Ferdinand at Queen's Park Rangers. Anton was on QPR's books when they went down in 2013, but spent the second half of the season on loan at Bursaspor in Turkey. Rio won the Premier League with United in 2013 alongside teammate Rafael da Silva, whose brother Fabio was also on loan at QPR the season they went down. Fabio left, and Rafael both played for United, but Fabio was at QPR for the 2013 relegation. Gary left, and Phil Neville are the most famous brotherly pairing in the Premier League. 2 years later, Rio was in QPR colours himself when they were again relegated from the top flight. By this point, Anton was at Reading in the Championship. United, of course, had the most famous brotherly partnership in Premier League history with Gary and Phil Neville. Gary played for United his whole career, 1992 to 2011, whereas Phil left Old Trafford in 2005 for Everton. The full list of brothers to have played together in the Premier League. Gary and Phil Neville, Manchester United, played together 1994 to 2005. Rafael and Fabio da Silva, Manchester United, 2008 to 2014. Ian and David Brightwell, Manchester City, 1988 to 1995. Kolo and Yaya Toure, Manchester City, 2010 to 2013. Sholo and Sammy Amiobi, Newcastle United, 2010 to 14. Andre and Jordan Ayew, Swansea City, January 2018.